Before life hits you, you have to make a decision about who you are. Because when the pressure shows up, it doesn't come to ask for permission, it comes to reveal. If you haven't already decided that you are unshakable, unmovable, and unstoppable, life will try to define you based on your circumstances. But hear this, you don't become strong in the moment of impact. You reveal the strength that was already built in silence. You can't wait until the storm hits to decide you're not going to drown. You can't wait until you lose your job to decide you're not going to panic. You can't wait until the divorce papers show up to decide you're still worthy. That decision has to be made in the quiet, when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, and when nobody's confirming you. That's where real strength is born, in conviction, not convenience. The reason most people fall apart under pressure is because they've built their lives on what they see. But if you only speak what you see, you'll keep getting more of what's already around you. You've got to open your mouth and speak what you want, even when it looks impossible. Stop describing the storm and start declaring the outcome. Your words are not commentary, they are commands. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and if you don't use your mouth to frame your future, your circumstances will use it to frame your failure. Every problem you face has a promotion attached to it. The bigger the problem, the higher the level. But here's the truth. Most people pray for promotion and run from the problems that come with it. You don't get to go to the next level without fighting the next devil. You've got to stop treating challenges like punishment. They're not punishment, they're process. They're the proving ground of your purpose. God doesn't test the weak to break them, he tests the strong to reveal them. You're stronger than you think, and you're being shaped for something greater than you see. Faith is not a feeling. If you're waiting to feel like believing, you'll stay stuck. Faith is a decision. It's standing in the fire and saying, I still win. It's being surrounded by chaos and still choosing peace. It's not about pretending the mountain isn't there. It's about speaking to it and expecting it to move. Too many people wait for their emotions to line up before they take action. But real faith walks even when the feelings don't follow. Strength is not the absence of fear. It's the presence of commitment in the face of it. Pressure doesn't break people. It exposes them. Whatever you've been putting in, that's what's coming out. If you've been feeding your mind with doubt, fear, and negativity, then under pressure, that's what you'll produce. But if you've been sowing strength, truth, discipline, and faith, then even when you're squeezed, what comes out is power. Stop waiting for the hard times to get serious. Champions don't get ready, they stay ready. Preparation is what turns pressure into purpose. And finally, you cannot afford to walk through life surrounded by people who drain you, doubt you, or dilute you. If your circle isn't building you, it's breaking you. Iron sharpens iron. But some of y'all are trying to sharpen your sword with plastic. You've got to get around people who make your vision bigger, not smaller. People who don't just celebrate you in comfort, but correct you in conflict. If your environment doesn't align with your destiny, change it. Your strength is sustained by your surroundings. So how do you stay strong in any situation? You decide in advance who you are. You speak life when life tries to shut your mouth. You embrace problems as gateways to power. You choose faith when fear is screaming. You stay prepared so pressure can't shake you. And you build a circle that strengthens your spirit. That's how you stand tall when life tries to knock you down. That's how you walk through fire and come out refined, not burned. And that's how you stay strong, not just in some situations, but in every situation. You can't afford to wait until everything goes wrong before you figure out who you are, because by the time the storm hits, it's too late to build the foundation. You'll either stand or you'll fall based on the identity you've already established. Strength is not developed in crisis. It's revealed. It's tested. And if you haven't already settled the question of your identity, the storm will settle it for you and not in your favor. Identity is not about how you feel on a good day. It's about what you know on a bad one. If you don't know you're a warrior before the battle begins, you'll retreat when the fight gets tough. If you don't know you're victorious before the trial comes, you'll surrender when the outcome looks uncertain. This is why deciding who you are before the storm isn't optional. It's essential. You've got to lock in your identity so tight that nothing can shake it. Not loss, not failure, not rejection, not betrayal, not fear. Because life will test you. The wind will blow, the waves will crash, the people you trusted may walk away, the support you thought was solid might fall through. And in those moments, you need to be so grounded in who you are that circumstances don't redefine you. Don't let the weather outside change the climate inside. Just because it's chaotic around you doesn't mean it has to be chaotic in you. Your peace is not in the absence of storms, it's in the presence of certainty. And that certainty must come from within. Not from what you have, not from what people say, not from how easy things are. It comes from knowing deep down that you were built for this, that you were created with purpose, that you're not some random accident floating through life trying to survive. No, you were designed to overcome, to lead, to create, to conquer. You were built in the image of a creator who doesn't fail, doesn't quit, and doesn't retreat. So neither should you. The most dangerous person on the planet is not the one with the best resume, the most money, or the highest following. It's the one who knows who they are and refuses to be moved. That's unshakable strength. That's immovable resolve. That's what makes the storm irrelevant. Because when you know who you are, no storm can define you. It can surround you. It can pressure you. But it cannot change you. So make the decision now, not when it hurts, not when it's scary, not when everything is on the line. Decide today, before the wind picks up, before the thunder rolls, before the flood rises, I know who I am. And once you decide that, nothing can take it from you. That's where true strength begins. Most people lose their battles not because they don't have the strength, but because they don't know how to use their words. Your words are not harmless, they're building blocks. Every time you speak, you are constructing your future or reinforcing your failure. The reason some people stay stuck is because they keep repeating what is instead of declaring what will be. They say, I'm broke, and wonder why they can't get ahead. They say, I'm tired, and wonder why they have no energy. They say, nothing ever works for me, and wonder why everything keeps falling apart. Let me tell you something. You cannot create a powerful future with a negative mouth. If all you do is speak what you see, you'll never rise above your current situation. Your words will trap you in the very thing you're trying to escape. But when you begin to speak what you want, even when you can't see it, even when you don't feel it, even when everything around you says it's impossible, that is when things start to change. The power isn't in the circumstances. The power is in your declaration. You've got to stop echoing what life is throwing at you and start prophesying what you're pulling towards you. If you want peace, speak peace. If you want abundance, speak abundance. If you want healing, speak healing. You're not lying when you speak by faith. You're aligning. You're aligning your mouth with your destiny instead of your difficulty. Because the truth is, your words are not just commentary, they are creative forces. They shape it. They shape it. When God created the universe, he didn't consult the darkness, he spoke into it. He didn't wait for light to show up before he said, let there be light. He commanded it into existence. And you've been given the same authority to speak to the chaos around you and declare what must be. But too many people are silent when they should be speaking. They're whispering doubt when they should be shouting truth. They're repeating defeat when they should be rehearsing victory. Your breakthrough is voice activated. That mountain won't move until you speak to it. That door won't open until you call it forth. That next level won't reveal itself until you speak like you already belong there. Stop using your mouth to confirm the problem. Use it to command the promise. Because you will never rise above the level of your language. If you want to stay strong in any situation, you have to train your mouth to obey your vision, not your emotions. Speak life when you feel death. Speak joy when you feel heaviness. Speak strength when you feel weak. Not because you're faking it, but because your words have the power to shift the atmosphere and change the outcome. You don't get what you see, you get what you say. And when your words and your will align, there is no situation that can stop you. Speak what you want and watch what happens. Most people run from problems like they're punishment. They see hardship and assume something's wrong. But what if I told you that the very thing you're trying to avoid is the thing that's trying to advance you? What if I told you that your problem is not the enemy, it's the invitation? See, problems don't show up to destroy you. They show up to reveal you, to uncover what's already inside you and bring you into a place you couldn't reach on comfort alone. You've been asking for promotion, but it never comes wrapped in convenience. It comes disguised in discomfort. It comes hidden in challenge. You don't go to the next level without facing a next level problem. And that problem is not a wall, it's a door. But you've got to stop looking at it like a barrier and start recognizing it as a gateway. Every giant you face is standing in front of something greater. Goliath wasn't just a threat to David, he was the doorway to the throne. No Goliath, no king. No problem, no promotion. That's why the enemy uses problems to intimidate you, because if he can get you to retreat, he can keep you from the reward. But here's the truth. The greater the problem, the greater the potential. Big problems show up for people who are called to big things. Small minds avoid them. Strong spirits embrace them because they understand this is the test that qualifies me for the next level. And let's be clear, problems don't come to people who are doing nothing. They come to those who are making moves, stepping out, taking ground, shifting atmospheres. Problems show up when you're advancing. That opposition is proof that you're on the right track. If you weren't a threat, you wouldn't be under attack. The pressure is a compliment. The adversity is confirmation. The problem isn't in the problem, it's in your perspective. If you think a problem is proof that something's wrong with you, you'll miss the fact that it might actually be proof that something's right with you, that you're growing, that you're stretching, that you're getting ready for more. Stop praying for easier roads and start preparing for greater capacity. Because the more you're trusted with, the more you'll be tested. But the test is not to break you, it's to promote you. You don't graduate until you pass the test. You don't elevate until you solve the equation in front of you. So don't curse your problem. Don't run from it. Don't complain about it. Conquer it. Face it with boldness. Face it with wisdom. Face it with faith, because every time you overcome, you don't just survive, you're elevated. You're trusted with more. You're lifted to a new level of authority, influence, and impact. So the next time a problem shows up, don't panic, pause, and remind yourself, this isn't a punishment, this is a promotion. And I'm not going to fold under pressure. I'm going to rise through it. Because problems don't stop the strong, they reveal them. And you were built for this. Faith will never ask you how you feel. It will never check your emotions before it tells you to move. Faith doesn't wait for the fear to disappear, and it doesn't rely on goosebumps or perfect conditions. Faith is a decision, a bold, unwavering choice to believe what you know over what you see. And too many people are waiting to feel strong before they step out, not realizing that strength comes after the step, not before it. If you wait to feel ready, you'll miss your moment. If you wait for certainty in your emotions, you'll be stuck in the same place a year from now, 5 years from now, still talking about the thing you should have done. Because faith doesn't operate in the realm of comfort. It lives in action. It breathes in movement. Faith looks at the impossible and says, let's go. Not because it sees how everything will work out, but because it trusts the one who called it forward. When you decide to walk by faith, you are choosing to align your steps with purpose, not pressure. You are choosing to speak what's true even when your feelings are screaming the opposite. Feelings will fluctuate. They'll lie to you. One day you'll feel like a champion, the next day you'll feel like quitting. If you build your life on emotion, you'll live on a roller coaster. But if you build your life on faith, you'll walk in a straight line, even when the path is hard. Faith is not about pretending there's no problem. It's about believing the problem doesn't have the final say. It's standing in the middle of the storm and saying, I still believe. It's getting the bad report and saying, I still win. It's hearing no after no and still showing up like the yes is already yours. That's not fake. That's faith. That's deciding the outcome in your heart before you ever see it with your eyes. You've got to stop waiting to feel brave. Brave isn't something you feel, it's something you do. Courage doesn't show up and tap you on the shoulder. You summon it by deciding you're not going to let fear make your choices for you. And faith doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you refuse to be controlled by it. It means you've settled the outcome in your spirit long before the evidence shows up. Too many people let their feelings sit in the driver's seat. They let discouragement dictate their direction. They let insecurity shut down their momentum. But when you walk by faith, you take the keys back. You say, I'm driving now. I'm choosing obedience. I'm choosing forward. I'm choosing to believe even when I can't explain it. So understand this. Strength is not the absence of weakness. It's the refusal to bow to it. Faith is not something you wait for. It's something you decide. You wake up and say, today I will trust. Today I will move. Today I will act. Not because I feel it, but because I've decided it. That's the power of faith, not a feeling, a decision. And when you live like that, no situation can stop you because your strength is no longer rooted in circumstance. It's anchored in conviction. Pressure doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to expose you. It doesn't break what's solid. It only breaks what's hollow. When pressure shows up in your life, it's not the enemy. It's the mirror. It shows you exactly what's inside of you. You don't really know what you're made of until the heat is turned up. Anybody can smile when everything's going right. Anybody can talk faith when the bills are paid, the relationships are smooth, and the path is clear. But when life squeezes you, when the money runs low, when the people you counted on disappear, when the outcome is uncertain, that's when the real you shows up. Pressure is a test, and it doesn't ask you what you wish you had put inside. It pulls out what's already been deposited. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. If you've been feeding your mind strength, feeding your soul truth, and building habits in the quiet, when the storm hits, you don't panic, you perform. But if you've been avoiding the work, cutting corners, living on motivation instead of discipline, then when life applies pressure, you collapse, not because you're weak, but because you didn't prepare. See, the world celebrates the performance, but God looks at the preparation. What you do behind the scenes determines what you can handle when the spotlight or the struggle hits. Champions are not made in the ring. They're just revealed there. The fight only puts a spotlight on the hours of discipline, consistency, and resilience that nobody else saw. The pressure just brings it all to the surface. This is why you can't wait until things go wrong to start building right. You don't wait until the battle to put on your armor. You don't wait until the flood to start building the boat. You stay ready. You train when it's boring. You show up when it's hard. You push when nobody's watching because you understand when life applies pressure, that's not the time to scramble. That's the time to stand. But you can only stand strong in public if you've been solid in private. Pressure is also an opportunity. It shows you what still needs work. It shows you where the cracks are. It's a blessing in disguise because it gives you a chance to grow before the consequences grow with you. Some people see pressure and back down, but the prepared see pressure and lean in. They say, thank you for the test. It shows me I'm ready. Or it shows me what I need to fix. Either way, it makes you better. So if you're under pressure right now, don't curse it. Study it. Use it. Let it be your indicator, not your identity. And if it's revealing that you're not ready, good. Now you know what to work on. But if it's showing that you're stronger than you thought, even better. Now you know what you're capable of. You don't build strength during the storm, you prove it. You don't develop roots when the wind is blowing. You find out how deep they already go. Pressure doesn't create champions. Preparation does. Pressure just lets the world see what you've been building in silence. Your environment will shape your endurance. Who you keep close will either feed your fire or drain your strength. You can't afford to walk through life with people who tear down what you're trying to build. If you want to stay strong in any situation, you have to be intentional about who's in your corner. Because the truth is, some people aren't assigned to your growth. They are attached to your comfort. And when pressure shows up, they don't build you, they break you. Builders are different. Builders don't just clap when you win. They challenge you when you settle. Builders don't just agree with you to make you feel good. They speak truth to you so you can grow strong. Builders don't disappear when life gets heavy. They dig in deeper and help carry the load. When you surround yourself with builders, you start thinking bigger. You start moving differently. You start rising, not just because you believe in yourself, but because you're surrounded by people who see your greatness even when you forget it. But breakers want you to play small. Breakers are threatened by your vision. They'll remind you of your past because they can't handle your future. They'll mask their insecurity as advice. They'll call it keeping it real when all they're doing is projecting their own fear. And if you're not careful, their doubt will become your delay. Their fear will become your hesitation. Their limitations will become your glass ceiling. You don't owe access to everyone. Loyalty doesn't mean staying connected to people who refuse to grow.